Hello, 6th and 7th graders. Welcome back to Bible, and welcome to my house. I'm shooting from my house tonight, so welcome. And I'm so glad that you guys can join me. So we're going to continue to talk about Proverbs 23:7. And in Proverbs 23:7, we're talking about how our thoughts control our actions. It's not how we act or what we say that actually is our true nature. It's what we think. And it's important to have the right thoughts. So when we look at Proverbs 23:7, we see that it says that a man on the inside is thinking about one thing, but he's saying, eat, drink to you, but in his heart he's not. How many times have any of us done that, where we say, oh yay, good job, yeah, and in our minds we're actually thinking, oh yay, okay, no. It's different. What we're thinking, our thoughts don't line up with what we're saying. And God is saying that it is important that our thoughts line up with what we say. So today we are going to take a look at what does God think about? It's kind of a really big, weird, kind of, wow, how are we going to talk about that? But if we study what God thinks about, we get to know the nature and character of God. Just as when we look at what we think about, we get to know our true nature and character. So one of the first things I want to talk about is that God's thoughts about us are unnumberable. So the amount of times he thinks about us is so astronomically big, there's no way to count it. God is constantly thinking about you and his plan for you and for your life. Second, God's thoughts about you are good. They're always good. There's no, oh, I wish I hadn't made so-and-so. No. Or I wish that, God's thoughts are always good about you. God's thoughts, Jeremiah 29:11. I have a plan. God has a plan for your life. A plan to prosper you and not to harm you. A plan to give you a hope and a future. That's God's thoughts about you. God is always thinking about you. That reveals his nature. His nature is to be concerned about us, his children. His nature is good, which is revealed by his thoughts about us. His nature is right and righteous because he thinks righteously about us. Now, as you go through your workbook pages today, you're going to go through the verses that talk about God and what he thinks. And then I want you to continue on and look at the verses and tell me whether or not these verses, what they're talking about in them. Are they talking about wise thoughts, evil thoughts, or both? Because we're going to continue to differentiate between bad thoughts and good thoughts, and those good thoughts and bad thought influences, and how we can put our minds and thoughts under Christ's obedience. One of the big things that I want to point out to you is, how do you put your thoughts under Christ's obedience? Or bring them into obedience under Christ? Through God's word. When that thought that says, oh, I am such a loser, I can't do this, comes through your mind, instead of letting it go, combat it with truth. No, I'm not a loser. and fearfully and wonderfully made by God. When we combat it with the truth, that's bringing it into obedience with Christ. Right thoughts. Our thought life needs to be pure. All right, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.